SQC1, which stands for Quality Control for firms that perform audits and reviews of historical financial information and other assurance and related services engagements, requires firms to establish a system of quality control. This system is designed to provide reasonable assurance that the firm and its personnel comply with professional standards, regulatory, and legal requirements. It also ensures that reports issued by the firm or engagement partners are appropriate in the circumstances. This standard applies to all firms, regardless of their constitution. The firm's system of quality control should include policies and procedures addressing the following elements: leadership responsibilities for quality within the firm, ethical requirements, acceptance and continuance of client relationships and specific engagements, human resources, engagement performance, monitoring, leadership responsibilities for quality within the firm. SQC1 mandates that firms establish policies and procedures to promote an internal culture where quality is recognized as essential in performing engagements. The firm's CEO or managing partners are ultimately responsible for the firm's system of quality control. The leadership's example fosters a culture that prioritizes high-quality audit work, recognizing that quality is paramount and non-negotiable. The CEO managing partner should ensure that management responsibilities are assigned so that commercial considerations do not override the quality of work performed. Policies and procedures for performance evaluation, compensation, and promotion demonstrate the firm's commitment to quality. Sufficient resources are devoted to the development of quality control policies and procedures. Ethical requirements. Firms should establish policies and procedures to ensure that the firm and its personnel comply with relevant ethical requirements outlined in the Code of Ethics issued by ICAI. The code establishes fundamental principles of professional ethics, including integrity, objectivity, confidentiality, professional competence and due care, professional behavior. Observance of independence in all engagements is a foundational requirement. The firm should establish policies and procedures to communicate its independence requirements to its personnel, identify circumstances and relationships that create threats to independence, take appropriate action to eliminate or reduce threats to an acceptable level by applying safeguards, or withdraw from the engagement. All breaches of independence should be promptly notified to the firm for appropriate action. Annually, the firm should obtain written confirmation of compliance with its independence policies and procedures from all personnel. SQC1 places special emphasis on the familiarity threat. Using the same senior personnel on assurance engagements for a prolonged period may impair the quality of engagement performance. Firms should establish criteria for determining the need for safeguards, considering the extent to which it involves a matter of public interest, the length of service of senior personnel on the engagement. Examples of safeguards include rotating senior personnel or requiring an engagement quality control review. The familiarity threat is particularly relevant in financial statement audits of listed entities, where the partner should be rotated after a predefined period, normally not more than 7 years. Acceptance and continuance of client relationships and specific engagements. Before accepting an engagement, a firm should acquire vital information about the client. This information helps the firm decide on the integrity of the client, promoters, and key managerial personnel, the firm's competence, including capabilities, time, and resources to perform the engagement, compliance with ethical requirements. This information should be obtained before accepting a new client engagement, continuing an existing engagement, or accepting a new engagement with an existing client. If issues are identified, the firm should document how they were resolved. Matters to be considered regarding the integrity of a client include identity and business reputation of client's principal owners, key management, and TCWG, those charged with governance. Nature of client's operations, including business practices. Information concerning the attitude of the client's principal owners, key management, and TCWG towards the interpretation of accounting standards and the internal control environment. Whether the client is aggressively concerned with maintaining the firm's fees as low as possible. Indications of an inappropriate limitation in the scope of work. Indications that the client might be involved in money laundering or other criminal activities. Reasons for the proposed appointment of the firm and non-reappointment of the previous firm. Matters to be considered for whether the firm has capabilities, competence, time, and resources include: the firm has sufficient personnel with necessary capabilities and competence. Experts are available if needed. Firm personnel have knowledge of relevant industries or subject matters. Firm personnel have experience with relevant regulatory or reporting requirements or the ability to gain necessary skills and knowledge effectively. The firm would be able to complete the engagement within the reporting deadline. If the firm obtains information that would have caused it to decline an engagement earlier, it should consider professional and legal responsibilities, including reporting requirements. The possibility of withdrawing from the engagement or the client relationship. Policies and procedures on withdrawal from an engagement or client relationship address issues such as discussing with client's management and TCWG regarding appropriate action based on facts and circumstances. If withdrawal is appropriate, discussing with management and TCWG the withdrawal from the engagement or both engagement and client relationship and the reasons for withdrawal. Considering whether there is a professional, regulatory, or legal requirement for the firm to remain in place or to report the withdrawal to regulatory authorities. Documenting significant issues, consultations, conclusions, and the basis for conclusions. Human resources. The firm should establish policies and procedures to provide reasonable assurance that it has sufficient personnel with the capabilities, competence, and commitment to ethical principles to perform engagements in accordance with professional standards and regulatory and legal requirements. To enable the firm to issue appropriate reports. These policies and procedures should address relevant HR issues, including recruitment, compensation, training, career development, and performance evaluation. There should be an emphasis on the continuing professional development of the firm's personnel. Engagement performance. Consultation in difficult or contentious matters. Consultation should occur in difficult or contentious matters pertaining to an engagement. Consultation involves discussion at an appropriate professional level with individuals within or outside the firm who have specialized expertise to resolve the matter. Review of engagement work. Normal review more experienced engagement team members, including the engagement partner, review work performed by less experienced team members. Reviewers consider whether work was performed according to professional standards and regulatory legal requirements. Significant matters were raised for further consideration. Appropriate consultations took place and conclusions were documented. Work performed is appropriately documented. Evidence obtained is sufficient and appropriate to support the report. Objectives of engagement procedures have been achieved. Engagement Quality Control Review. This review is mandatory for all audits of financial statements of listed entities. For other engagements, the firm should devise criteria to determine cases requiring an engagement quality control review. The extent of the review depends on the complexity of the engagement and the risk that the report might not be appropriate. Significant judgments made in an engagement should be reviewed by an engagement quality control reviewer. This review does not reduce the responsibilities of the engagement partner. Aspects to consider during an engagement quality control review for audits of financial statements of listed entities include the engagement team's evaluation of the firm's independence, significant risks identified and responses to them, judgments made, especially regarding materiality and significant risks, whether appropriate consultation occurred on matters involving differences of opinion or other difficult contentious matters, and resulting conclusions. Matters to be communicated to management TCWG and regulatory bodies. Whether selected working papers reflect the work performed and support conclusions. Appropriateness of the report to be issued. An engagement quality control reviewer can be a partner, another person in the firm, who is a member of ICAI, or a suitably qualified external person. For listed entities, the reviewer must be an individual with sufficient and appropriate experience and authority to act as an audit engagement partner on audits of financial statements of listed entities. Objectivity of the reviewer must be maintained, avoiding participation in the engagement or making decisions for the engagement team. If consultations become significant, another individual within the firm or a suitably qualified external person should be appointed. Differences of opinion may arise within the engagement team, with those consulted, or between the engagement partner and the engagement quality control reviewer. The report should only be issued after these differences are resolved. If the engagement partner does not accept the reviewer's recommendations, the matter should be resolved by following established firm procedures, such as consulting with another practitioner, firm, or professional regulatory body. Engagement documentation. Assembly. The firm should establish policies and procedures to complete the assembly of final engagement files promptly after engagement reports are finalized. Engagement files should be completed within 60 days after the auditor's report for audit engagements and within appropriate limits for other engagements. Safety. Policies and procedures should be designed to maintain the confidentiality, integrity, safe custody, accessibility, and retrievability of engagement documentation. Retention. Engagement documentation must be retained for a period sufficient to permit monitoring procedures to evaluate the firm's compliance with its quality control system. For audits, the retention period is ordinarily no shorter than 7 years from the date of the auditor's report. Property. Engagement documentation is the property of the firm. The firm may, at its discretion, make portions or extracts available to clients, provided it does not undermine the validity of the work performed or the independence of the firm or its personnel. Original paper documentation may be electronically scanned for inclusion in engagement files. In such cases, the firm must implement procedures requiring engagement teams to generate scanned copies that reflect the entire content of the original, integrate them into engagement files, including indexing and signing, and enable them to be retrieved and printed. Monitoring. The firm should ensure that policies and procedures related to the system of quality control are relevant, adequate, operating effectively, and complied with in practice. Policies include either ongoing evaluation or periodic inspection of completed engagements. Quality control of engagements should be monitored considering whether the quality control system is appropriately designed and effectively implemented, whether new developments in professional standards, legal, and regulatory requirements are reflected in quality control policies. Responsibility for the monitoring process assigned to a person with sufficient experience and authority. Dealing with complaints and allegations against the firm or any employee regarding non-compliance with standards or regulatory requirements. Taking appropriate remedial actions against personnel. Taking action when deficiencies in design, operation, or non-compliance are identified. Complaints and allegations. The firm should establish policies and procedures to deal appropriately with Complaints and allegations that work performed by the firm fails to comply with professional standards and regulatory and legal requirements. Allegations of non-compliance with the firm's system of quality control. Complaints and allegations can originate from within or outside the firm, made by firm personnel, clients, or other third parties. The firm should establish clearly defined channels for personnel to raise concerns without fear of reprisals. Such complaints and allegations should be investigated as per established policies and procedures, supervised by a partner with sufficient experience and authority. If investigations indicate non-compliance, the firm takes appropriate action. SA to 20 Quality Control for an audit of financial statements. SA to 20 deals with the engagement partner's responsibility for quality control procedures during a specific audit engagement. It's based on the premise that the firm itself is subject to SQC1, and SA to 20 is modeled along the lines of SQC1. SA to 20 describes the responsibilities of the engagement partner concerning the following matters. Leadership responsibilities for quality on audits. Relevant ethical requirements. Acceptance and continuance of client relationships and audit engagements. Assignment of engagement teams. Engagement performance. Monitoring. Leadership responsibilities for quality on audits. The engagement partner is responsible for the overall quality of each audit engagement. The engagement partner's actions and messages to the engagement team should emphasize that quality is essential in performing audit engagements. The importance to audit quality of performing work that complies with professional standards and regulatory and legal requirements. Complying with the firm's quality control policies and procedures as applicable. Issuing auditors reports that are appropriate in the circumstances. The engagement team's ability to raise concerns without fear of reprisals. Relevant ethical requirements. The responsibilities of the engagement partner include identifying a threat to independence, determining appropriate action, such as eliminating the activity or withdrawing from the audit, acceptance and continuance of client relationship and audit engagement. The engagement partner should obtain information before accepting an engagement with a new client, continuing an existing engagement, or accepting a new engagement with an existing client. This information includes integrity of principal owners, competence of the engagement team and consideration of necessary capabilities, including time and resources, compliance with relevant ethical requirements, significant matters that arose during the current or previous audit engagement and their implications, to help determine if conclusions on acceptance and continuance are appropriate. Assignment of engagement teams. The engagement partner ensures that the engagement team and experts, collectively, possess the appropriate competence and capabilities to perform the engagement. Engagement performance. The engagement partner is responsible for the direction, supervision, and performance of the audit, for the appropriateness of the auditor's report, and for reviewing audit documentation before the audit report is issued. This includes ensuring that sufficient appropriate audit evidence has been obtained, ensuring appropriate consultation on difficult or contentious matters by the engagement team. Engagement quality control review. The engagement partner is responsible to determine that an engagement quality control reviewer has been appointed, discuss significant matters arising during the audit with the engagement quality control reviewer, not date the auditor's report until the completion of the engagement quality control review. The review must perform an objective evaluation of judgments made and conclusions reached. This evaluation involves significant matters, documentation related to judgments made, and evaluation of conclusions reached. For listed entities, the reviewer also considers the firm's independence and whether consultation has taken place. Monitoring. SQC1 includes a monitoring process to ensure the quality control system is relevant and operating effectively. The engagement partner should consider the results of the firm's monitoring process and whether any deficiencies noted may affect the audit engagement. Documentation. The engagement partner should document issues identified and how they were resolved. Conclusions on independence requirements. Conclusions regarding acceptance and continuance. The quality control reviewer shall document that procedures required by the firm's policies have been performed. The review has been completed before the date of the auditor's report. The reviewer is not aware of client relationships or consultations undertaken. The reviewer is not aware of any unresolved matters. SQC1 and SA-20 are both essential for quality control, but they differ in their scope and responsibility. SQC1 applies to the entire firm, with the CEO or managing partners holding the primary responsibility for ensuring compliance. It covers a broad range of engagements, including audits, reviews, other assurance, and related services, establishing a quality control system for the firm as a whole to ensure that the firm and its personnel comply with professional, regulatory, and legal requirements. In contrast, SA-20 is specific to a particular audit engagement, with the engagement partner being responsible for implementing quality control procedures applicable to that audit. Its scope is limited to audit engagements only, focusing on how engagement teams apply quality control within the context of an individual audit. Mechanisms for review of quality control. Peer Review Board. Constituted by the Council of ICAI. Main objective: to ensure that technical, professional and ethical standards are complied with by members of ICAI and that proper systems are in place, including documentation, demonstrating the quality of services provided. Purpose: to enhance the quality of professional work, resulting in more reliable and useful audit reports. Peer review: an examination and review of systems and procedures to determine if they have been implemented by a practice unit to ensure the quality of assurance services as per standards. Outcome: a peer review certificate is issued if an unqualified report is issued by the peer reviewer. If a qualified report is issued, the practice unit is informed along with reasons and a date for a follow-on review. Quality Review Board, QRB. Set up by the Central Government, CG. Composition: consists of members nominated by the CG and the Council of ICAI. Functions: to make recommendations to the Council regarding the quality of services provided by CAS. To review the quality of services provided by members of the Institute, including audit services. To guide members of the Institute to improve the quality of services. Process: review is carried out by technical reviewers who are empaneled by the QRB on an engagement basis. NFRA, National Financial Reporting Authority. Constituted under Section 132(1) of the Companies Act, 2013. Duties: includes monitoring and enforcing compliance with accounting standards, as, and standards on auditing, SAS, overseeing the quality of service, ensuring compliance, and suggesting measures for improvement. Powers: has the power to monitor and enforce compliance, oversee the quality of service, or undertake investigation of listed companies, insurance companies, banking companies, and other companies specified in Rule 3 of NFRA Rules, 2018. Focus: overseeing the quality of audit of listed companies falls under the purview of NFRA.